Imagine a baby born destined to rule a fortune and a family legacy bigger than anyone could imagine, and then vanished without a trace before anyone could even see him grow. What happened? Nobody knows, but the story will change the way you see family, power, and secrets. The story BGENS history is full of great men and women leaders, inventors, icons, but sometimes history almost forgets the ones who are supposed to be at the center. And sometimes those lost souls carry secrets that echo across generations. This story begins in 1950s New Orleans, in a sprawling mansion with ornate gates and a family legacy tied to wealth, politics, and influence. The Beaumont family was known for two things: power and secrecy. At the heart of this story was a baby boy. Born in the spring of 1954, his parents whispered about him as the one, the heir, the future leader of everything the family had built. Not just wealth, but respect, influence, and even political power. The boy's name was Henry Beaumont III. From the start, his life was extraordinary. Servants treated him like royalty. Tutors were hired before he could even walk, and distant relatives sent gifts that most adults could only dream of receiving. Everyone believed Henry was destined to rule the family, and perhaps much more. But here's where it gets strange. The disappearance Henry vanished on a rainy night in October 1956, when he was just 2 years old. The nanny, Mrs. Lillian Carter, had placed him in his crib after his evening milk. She returned to check 5 minutes later. He was gone. The door was locked from the inside. The window was latched. No footprints, no signs of struggle, no clue at all. The mansion erupted into chaos. Guards, servants, and even the mayor were called. The family combed every room, every garden, every surrounding street. But Henry had vanished without a trace. The newspapers hinted at scandal. Mysterious disappearance rocks elite family. But no details were ever released. The Beaumonts had connections. Rumors were carefully silenced. What no one knew was that the disappearance was not accidental. The secret that spanned years. I met Evelyn Beaumont, Henry's cousin, decades later. She was now in her 70s, living quietly in a small Louisiana town, away from the spotlight. Her memories were sharp, but full of sorrow. She told me, Henry wasn't just any baby. He was special. Everyone in the family believed he would become the patriarch, but some people in the family didn't want him to live, because they feared what he would become. Evelyn described secret rooms, late-night whispers, and family meetings filled with fear, greed, and power struggles. She said there were 3 uncles who wanted control, and in their fear, they took a drastic measure. They didn't kill him, she whispered. They hid him. The childhood of a king in hiding. Where did Henry go? Evelyn never knew the exact details, but she had glimpses. The nanny, Mrs. Carter, took him far from New Orleans. She changed his identity, gave him a new family, one that had no clue of his legacy. He grew up as Henry Jones, a boy in a small Mississippi town, running barefoot in dusty streets, attending public schools, unaware of the fortune he had been born into. Evelyn told me something I still cannot forget. He had the manners, the presence, even the intelligence of a leader, even without being told who he was. By the age of 10, Henry was already solving problems adults struggled with. He was curious about politics, books, leadership, though he didn't know why. Something instinctively drove him toward responsibility, and yet he remained hidden, protected, and completely unaware of his true identity. The family struggled without the heir. Meanwhile, back in New Orleans, the Beaumonts were unraveling. Without Henry, the family power began to fade. The uncles who had orchestrated the disappearance tried to control everything, but greed and fear led to mismanagement. The mansion, once full of music and laughter, became quiet. Guests stopped coming. Investments failed, and the family secret hung like a shadow over every gathering, Evelyn explained. They won the battle, but lost the war. The family never truly recovered. Without Henry, the legacy couldn't flourish. The story wasn't just about one missing child. It was about how a single life can change the fate of generations. Henry's life in Mississippi. As Henry grew, his natural leadership became undeniable. Teachers noticed it. Friends relied on it. By age 16, he was mentoring younger students, organizing community events, and mediating disputes in his small town. He never knew why he felt drawn to these responsibilities. But Evelyn says he carried the weight of royalty in his soul, even without knowing it. Nature doesn't forget its kings. By 20, Henry had become a well-respected young man, known for fairness, wisdom, and kindness. He ran for local office but, still unaware of the fortune he had been born to, a mansion that was waiting for him, the family name that could open doors across America. The revelation. It wasn't until Henry was 28 that Mrs. Carter finally told him the truth. "You are Henry Beaumont III, she said, trembling. "The family you've been raised apart from. They tried to erase you, but you survived. You've grown strong. They can't take that away." Henry's first reaction was disbelief, then anger, then sorrow. "All these years," he said, "my life could have been different. But maybe I was meant to be me, not what they wanted me to be." Evelyn reflected. That's the wisdom of his life. The child who would have been king became a king of himself instead. As lessons of the lost heir, Henry never returned to claim the family fortune. Some things, he realized, were bigger than money or power. Instead, he built a life in Mississippi, a family of his own, a community he served, and a reputation rooted in integrity, compassion, and leadership earned, not inherited, Evelyn explained. He taught me something the family forgot. Being king isn't about wealth or title. It's about courage, love, and wisdom. And sometimes, losing everything you're told you're destined for is the only way to truly find yourself. The impact of a single life. Looking back, Henry's disappearance changed more than his own destiny. The Beaumonts learned the cost of greed and secrecy. Mrs. Carter sacrificed everything to protect a child she barely knew. Henry showed that true leadership doesn't need a crown, it needs a heart. Even today, people in that small Mississippi town tell stories of Henry Jones, the young man who could settle disputes, inspire his peers, and make difficult choices with grace. To them, he's a legend, though they don't know his royal heritage. The mystery remains. Some mysteries remain unsolved. Did Henry ever try to reclaim the Beaumont fortune? Did he meet members of his biological family later in life? Did the original conspirators ever feel remorse? No one knows for sure. But what we do know is this: history is shaped not just by kings and queens, but by the choices of those who survive, who persevere, and who act with courage despite betrayal. If you're still listening, ask yourself, what would you do if you discovered your life was stolen or hidden from you? Would you fight for the legacy you were meant to inherit, or create your own? Drop your city or state in the comments and tell me what you would do in Henry's place. And if you want more emotional, life-changing stories about secrets, courage, and wisdom from history, subscribe now. Hit the notification bell and never miss a story that could change the way you see the world. Because sometimes the greatest rulers are the ones who never wanted a crown.